That's Clare Lopez on what day is it? Thursday, August 29th, 2024 at 3:08 p.m. Eastern time. Was gonna have Claire on today, and then was gonna have her on Sunday, and then was gonna have Brandon Weichert on today, and then Brandon got sick, and everything's discombobulated. So guys, please go follow Claire on Twitter because I called her earlier and on a moment's notice she did the podcast. So please go show her some love. But you've been on here a million times before in terms of everything is going on right now. Obviously, you have Trump being invited to the funeral of the 13 soldiers who were Marines who were killed at Kabul airport. You have a bunch of literal demons from hell tweeting about Trump and Orange Man bad, despite the fact he was invited by the families. We have RFK and Tulsi Gabbard endorsing Trump, and I don't know what else is going on. How are you, Miss Lopez?
It's been a busy week, hasn't it?
It has.
And I am just looking forward to the end of summer. It is my least favorite season of the entire year,
Amen.
and
Amen.
very much looking forward to fall, which is now, I guess, around the corner.
Hmm.
So
I'm with you.
uh,
I'm with you. I don't
that's
fare well in the summer.
yeah, that's where we're at. It's still going to be 90 here where I am today, but after this, it looks like a downward trend. So that's all good.
Yeah, thank God. Um, so I know Trump endorsed, I know Tulsi endorsed. Are they officially part of the campaign? Is that even an official designation now? Is it kind of
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from what I understand and what I've seen in the media, after RFK Jr. About a week ago, and then of course Tulsi Gabbard, what was that? Just a couple days ago, I guess. Both announced their endorsement for former President Trump, now candidate to be president again. And you probably saw, or many of you probably saw, it was Friday, wasn't it? When Trump was holding that rally in Glendale, Arizona, and there'd been a lot of sort of speculation and is it going to happen? Is this going to be today? And then, of course, he announces that RFK Jr. is coming up on stage, and the crowd in that arena went wild. I mean, they raised the roof. They were chanting, "Bobby, Bobby, Bobby." Um, this is this is amazing. I mean, both RFK Jr., Bobby Jr., and Tulsi Gabbard, of course, longtime career Democrats, but both now saying almost the same thing, that they haven't left the Democrat Party. And of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ran his independent campaign as an independent, not a Democrat. But both of them, they're saying they did not leave the Democrat Party, but that the Democrat Party left them. And it's pretty clear that the Democrat Party of today is simply not the Democrat Party. Let's say go back as far as the 1960s of obviously Bobby Kennedy's father, Robert F. Kennedy Sr., his uncle, John F. Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy, both assassinated in the 1960s. But the party is just not what it was for them at that time. And I've seen many the comment that, were those two, Robert F. Kennedy Sr. and John F. Kennedy, President, were they, today around, they would not likely be Democrats. There's just too much that has changed. And that is what brought Bobby Kennedy Jr., to first of all, an independent presidential run. But now that he has, as he said, suspended that, he didn't say he ended it, but he said he suspended it, and come over to endorse President Trump, as has Tulsi Gabbard. Um, they find more in common and more that they identify with and want to support in the Republican Party than the Democrat Party. What's kind of interesting to note is that even as Bobby Kennedy officially took his name off the ballot, or requested to take his name off the ballot in, I think it's 10 of the battleground states, the swing states, maybe as you call them, and left his name on the ballot in a bunch of others that didn't matter so much as far as how close, the polling, the rate of identification for Trump, for Bobby Kennedy, that it wasn't, and Harris, that in those states where it wasn't that close, he left his name on the ballot. But I think it was 10 where it was close, and we're talking about the battleground states, right? Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and I guess I'm skipping a few, Georgia. He requested to take his name off the ballot. But here's the interesting part, and that is that within the past, I don't know, day or so, in both Wisconsin, Wisconsin and Minnesota, or is it Wisconsin and Michigan? In any case, Wisconsin and one of those. The state, the Secretary of State of those states refused to take his name off the ballot. So it's very obvious the kind of games they're playing, and probably a prelude to what we might expect in terms of shenanigans coming up in November.
It is absolutely maddening. But Biden's off, right?
Yes. Yeah. Joe Biden is off the ballot, and in unelected, unvoted for, 0 votes in the primaries. Harris is now the candidate for president, and she has chosen her vice presidential running mate, Tampon Tim, as a governor of Minnesota.
So get Trump a mugshot last summer, get him 34 felony counts this summer, try to shoot him or successfully shoot him.
Yeah.
Don't let him on the ballot, and when that works, attempt to kill him. Take Biden off the ballot, and then in a definitively, truly by definition, an undemocratic manner, put forward Harris, and then so don't allow Trump on the ticket. Try to kill him if he does. Remove Biden from the ticket and put in an undemocratically elected candidate, and then don't take Bobby Kennedy off, even though he's stepping down, much like Joe Biden,
and submitted the paperwork to do that. And these 2 secretaries of state, it's pretty obvious what their game is. They still want to divide the vote, and take votes as they see it, perhaps away from the Trump campaign. And I guess they think that the Kamala Harris campaign would not be as affected were Bobby Kennedy to stay on those ballots.
Sounds above board, totally squeaky clean.
Oh yeah. After what is it, 14 million plus, I guess, Democrat voters during the primary season specifically voted for current President Joe Biden, and they just he's gone. He's been enjoying a very nice vacation. First of all, about a week or so out in California. Now has flown back to the East Coast, and he's in Delaware. Just relaxing.
I was
We have no idea who's running the government, by the way.
I was gonna say there has kind of been like an unofficial step down of Joe Biden.
Well, it's certainly de facto that he is not, and probably for quite a while has not been.
Well, sure. No, I don't think anyone,
acting as the actual incumbent president. But during this time as well, Kamala is crisscrossing the country, doing campaign stops.
So
So who is at the White House? Who's in Washington, D.C.? We really don't know. I mean, we've got senior national security people like Jake Sullivan over in the Middle East right now. I think Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, either is or just recently was. Who's minding the store? Or is anybody minding the store?
whoever it is the same person or group of people that have been doing so for 4 years. We're just the mask is falling off now. It's
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
so, except that we still don't actually know
Of course,
who
no, we
those
don't know who
people
that
are.
is. Well, by
I mean,
design.
we can understand that, Blinken and Sullivan were part of that junta or that cabal, however you want to call it. But the rest of them, it's speculation, even now as we speak.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, of all the odd things, but it's been especially peculiar that Biden says I'm not running. I'm gonna take the reins. But there has been. It's not that Biden hasn't been like reported on, but it seems like there's no reporting on the absence of Biden. It's just we're all kind of like, all right, he dropped out, and it's like, yeah, but it's August. He is still president of the United States until January. Like,
Well,
it's
and
not.
she, Kamala Harris, is still vice president of the United States until
That's what I
January the
mean.
20th.
It's not even like Biden. I don't know. It's not even like it's not even like it's January 18th. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of done. They're transferring power. It's August.
Yeah,
He's still
yeah.
and then
and
but
and and it's obvious that neither one, the current president, nor the current vice president, is managing things in Washington D.C.,
yeah,
um,
it's
which is really a very troubling um, realization,
yeah,
and one that I'm sure not only friends and allies, but also our enemies and adversaries across the world certainly have taken note of.
absolutely. Um I was gonna say, and do you think so? What Trump did that interview with Elon Musk, and then he went on the comedian Theo Vaughn. And I think he's doing Lex Friedman. And regardless of what you think of these people or podcasters or whatever, the reality is Trump is going on these long, free form,
Yeah,
not news conference where it's 3 minutes, and then we'll be right back with the word from our advertisers. Trump's going on for 1, 2, 3 hours,
yeah.
unscripted, on camera, just kind of
Without a teleprompter.
he was sitting there with Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn's talking about, cocaine and sobriety. And you have Trump just kind of like not. The point is like the very fact that he's going on these things, no teleprompter for hours on end. And it's not little sound bites of, well, we
Right.
are going to be tough on Iran.
Yeah,
It's him
yeah,
just shooting the
yeah,
shit about this, that, and the other thing.
yeah.
And he's going on another one this week.
But
And
also specifics about his policy,
sure,
what he, did do during his tenure previously, and what he plans to do in the next 4 years. JD Vance, Trump's vice presidential running mate, um, had a great rejoinder, a great comeback in I'm not sure where he was, but I think it was yesterday. And I guess somebody asked him, a journalist asked him something about where's your teleprompter or something like that, and JD comes back perfect. I don't need a teleprompter. I actually have thoughts in my own head that I can talk to you about, unlike Kamala Harris or Tim Walz for that matter.
yeah, it's for me, it's not even it's important to discuss, policy and topics, which Kamala Harris has not done. But to me, it's far more impactful just in my short 34 years of seeing like we've never had anyone kind of just go on and essentially do a multi-hour expose where you're on the spot and it's not just kind of platitudes of and we
Yeah,
will fight and we will be strong, but it's actual like what do you think about this, like, and going in 10, 20 minutes about this, that, and the other thing. And you may, and sure, devil's advocate, you could say, well, Elon Musk, Theo Vaughn, Lex Friedman, they're all for Trump, sure, there's no shortage of liberal podcasts. Why how you haven't seen? But so my point is the actions speak volumes. It doesn't matter what you say.
Well,
The fact that she's not going on even.
yeah. I mean, and the point is that any journalist or interviewer, podcast host, can throw out a question, but Trump then picks up the ball and runs with it, as you just said, Tommy, in a lot of detail about his energy policy, his
Yeah.
cut regulations policy, every kind of foreign policy, and he runs with it. But if that same kind of question, let's say it's just a neutral, what is your position about energy production in America? Would Kami Kamala be able to pick up that ball and run with it for 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes like Trump does? No, of course not.
Yeah, it's I have on obviously I do 1,500 shows. I mean, but just one that comes to mind is a couple months ago. Like I get people email me all the time, say you never cover this, you never cover that. And I'm like,
Uh,
well, hey, why don't you come on and
do they really?
I'll give oh yeah, and I'm like, I'll give you the floor, and they go silent. I had one guy email me and he asked if he could come on and talk about the flat Earth, and I was like, you know what? Go for it. You want to defend that position? Let's do it. He came on. He's a fun guy, nice guy. He had me laughing. I obviously disagreed with him, but I will give credit to that guy. He sat there for 90 minutes, defended his points. I would say, well, what about this? And he would give me his explanation. My point is the guy came on and confidently and respectfully defended his point, and I pushed back on, I don't believe in the flat earth. Completely cordial conversation, completely normal guy. Well, he didn't sit there and go, well, you just hate
Well,
me.
with that one exception, normal. Yeah.
Yeah. My point is like he came on and defended that point of view.
Hmm.
You don't have Kamala taking a far less absurd view of flat earthers out there. It's not like she's coming on talking about why we need, I don't know, more or less border patrol, or why we need more or less whatever aid to Lithuania, whatever. She's not even doing that. So that's my point is
No, she
I've had,
can't. I mean,
well,
JD
precisely. It's,
nailed it. He has fully, thought out thoughts, policy positions in his head,
yeah,
and he can speak and articulate them um, on the spur of the moment very clearly,
yeah. And I
and she
think,
can't.
so I think if anything, I don't know if it's intentional. I would imagine that there's probably some planning, but I think if anything, Trump is almost kind of bringing that to forefront by going on these. He's never done a podcast before, and now
Mm.
he's going on these long form sitting. And again, they're not scripted. You literally have Theo Vaughn talking about back in his days of cocaine addiction. You have Trump like, right, right, like the very fact that he's doing that, it's starting to draw us because Trump can come out all day long and say my opponent won't go on a podcast, or he can go on podcasts with audiences that are primarily much younger, teens, 20s, 30s. It is regardless of how, let's say he's been doing well on these, very well on these podcasts. Let's say it's the opposite. Let's say he starts flopping. The very fact that he's still going out there and essentially to people on the far left, he is metaphorically a flat earther, and that he is defending views to them that are absurd. But at a certain point, it becomes undeniable that the guy is still going out there and defending it. And just by
Well, but he
simply,
makes sense too. I mean, he
yeah,
has data points to back up
yes.
what he's saying.
Oh, no, no, he's doing great on all this. But I'm saying is even if he was doing terribly, it is undeniable that he is going out there and essentially saying, here's my product, and I'm going to tell you why it's the best one. And you don't have to like, and then you have someone else who's going, mine's better. And you go, well, what is your product? And they go, I'm not telling you. And they don't talk. And you go, you know what? I don't know if I support Tommy's product, but man, he's at least out there answering questions. He's at least going about it. I think he's an idiot, but he's at least going about. You don't even see that because what I've found, and again, whatever experience I have is calling out hypocrisy means nothing. I used to think it mattered, and I now realize it doesn't. Kamala can go out there and go, when I get into office, I'm gonna fix the border. People go, you're in office. They don't care that you're calling out their hypocrisy. They don't care. Hypocrisy
Yeah.
means nothing to them. It's a
Yeah.
distraction. The only thing to do is put the screws to it. And that's what Trump's doing by going on. Bobby, Bobby Kennedy went on Rogan for 3.5 hours. He went on, I think he went on Lex Friedman. I think Bobby also went on the comedian Theo Von. He's gone. He went on Tim Dillon, who is like the crassest comedian alive. If you can do that, regardless of your performance, going out, it's like I remember in sixth grade, my math teacher telling us the importance of turning in homework even if you did bad on it. Because even if you failed it and got a 60, that's still 60 points higher than not doing it at all. And the fact that Bobby Kennedy and Donald Trump are going on shows, regardless of even if Trump went out tomorrow and said, we're going to expand the federal budget to $100 trillion, that is still more, that is more transparency and more candid publicity than Kamala Harris is given. So in that sense, it's kind of genius to go out, and because calling out hypocrisy means nothing. Going out and actually doing shows, it does nothing but draw a stark contrast to Kamala
Well,
Harris
and
actions.
to that point, it's not even Kamala Harris herself, uh, and or Tim Walz, personally speaking their policy positions publicly. They're not in front of the microphone, the cameras, and the journalists or the podcast hosts. What's happening, and it's bizarre to watch, is that their campaign
Yeah.
staffers, I guess, those staffers are issuing policy positions, and many have noticed that a bunch of those policy positions, like just take, for example, building a wall across our southern border with Mexico, those policy positions are diametrically opposed to what, um, you know, the internet is forever, is on video of Kamala Harris, and her spoken positions of 3, 4, 5 more years ago, diametrically opposed. What was it she called the border fence? A vanity project, right? A vanity project
Hmm.
for President Trump. She said this some years ago, and I find it kind of fun to be watching some of the programs that have collected this historical footage, these
Yeah.
historical statements on video, and juxtapose them, maybe even in a split screen, right? Of her speaking about a border wall vanity project for President Trump, and what her staff, not her personally, the staff is now putting out. Yes, yes. So we think we should build a wall or finish the wall. Um, that I mean, that's got to be getting some attention somewhere.
And then also kind of, I guess, all related. Where's Mark Zuckerberg? I'm trying to find the article. Mark Zuckerberg
Yeah,
in
yeah,
2021, senior officials from the and this is, I think, from 2 days ago.
yeah.
In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, reportedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 comments, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take content down. We own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes. But there's also, he talks about having to take things down that put Hunter Biden in an ill light and being told to
The
push
laptop
things.
story, for
Yeah,
example.
th- it's not. I don't know, anyone with a brain cell knows that's what's happening. What is interesting is Zuckerberg coming out and bringing light to this,
The timing, maybe
especially in,
the most
well, September.
interesting part of this.
Yeah, it's not that he came
Too
out and
little,
said
too
it.
late, but
Shh. I would say
I
not,
know.
no, too little, too late, but I would also say there's a little bit of a redemption arc that he didn't say this January of this year. He's waiting till now.
Yeah,
I'd give credit where it's due. Now, granted, he's still in the negatives for doing it, but I would give credit where credit's due for saying it now. That's very interesting.
It's
It's not good.
interesting, and there's all kinds of speculation about why he chose this time to do that. What does that signify?
Yeah. Or
Uh,
yeah, or am I taking
does
something hook,
it
line, and sinker? Yeah. Is he doing something?
does it show that maybe some other platforms leadership will come out with something similar? I don't take anything at face value from these people
No.
anymore, ever at all.
No, no. So no, the Silicon Valley billionaire. Yeah, no, no, I'm with you. Exactly. And I have to be careful not to eat it up too quickly. Be like, well, why he he is this and he has been in the pocket of the left. Why is he saying it now? You could
Yeah.
argue that, he truly believes that Trump's gonna win and he doesn't want some, I don't know, Section 230, the crackdown
Enforcement or
hearings.
something. Yeah.
Or you could say that there is, once everyone suspected government involvement, the Twitter files after Elon bought Twitter proved it, and now it became much less of a job. It was somewhat speculative to assume the government did have direct contact with these companies. After Elon disclosed the Twitter files, it is now much less of an assumption to go, well, why would they only do Twitter? What about Facebook? What about Instagram? Those are two picture-driven platforms. What about, well, TikTok's Chinese? What about Reddit, where it's more forum-based? You could maybe say maybe Zuckerberg has evidence or feelings that Facebook files are coming out, and it might be a combination of he fears that with fearing Trump coming up. I don't know. He could also just be kind of like a soulless, spineless billionaire that, puts his finger in the air and goes, the wind's going that way.
Hard
I
to
don't know.
tell. Hard to tell. I mean, yes, welcome. Thank you. But where were you 4 years ago?
Precisely. No, no, I'm with you. It costs nothing to be the second patriot, right? It's very easy. Yeah. It's very interesting though why he's doing it now. It it does seem to be I mean, the pieces are more and more coming together that it's not even that Biden wasn't running the administration, which everyone knew. But yeah, no, it's that Kamala has no concept either. There is some central committee that is speaking only through press conferences and censorship. And that is becoming less and less easily hidden.
Yeah. Well, thank you, to the numbers of whistleblowers, right?
For what?
For revealing things to us, like the Twitter files, for
Oh
example.
yeah, yeah, no. Yeah.
Matt Taibbi
Yeah, yeah, no, no, correct.
and the others.
Yeah. Um, and then to kind of pivot from RFK, and I admittedly know much less about her. What is the importance or significance of Tulsi Gabbard jumping over to Trump's side?
Yeah. Well, it's hard for me to exactly understand. She claims, to have broken with Democrat policies of the past. Okay. But if we look at a very well respected researcher, author, filmmaker by the name of Trevor Loudon, you may know that name. He is New Zealander by birth, but lives with his wife now in the United States and has for a number of years. But Trevor is probably this country's number one expert and researcher and I guess revealer of communist connections of senior level politicians in particular. He has put out a film called Enemies Within, subsequent films coming out along the same lines. Also is authoring right now a series of books which address communist connections of our members of Congress. And he's divvied up the House of Representatives, of course, takes several books, for all 435 members. of them the ones that he identifies as having had or have right now even communist ties, and then of course a multi-book series coming out as well on the members of the Senate. Far fewer, only 100 of them, but of those, the ones that have identifiable connections to Communist Party groups, affiliations, and so forth. I would recommend people, I would point people to Trevor Loudon's websites under his own name, Trevor Loudon, Loudon. Also, an associated website of his called Key Wiki, kind of an amusing name there, but because he's a Kiwi, right, from New Zealand, it is the Key Wiki, where he's posted a lot of his voluminous but absolutely meticulously sourced research about communist connections. So a long way of getting back at what you asked about Tulsi Gabbard. You know, has she denounced previous associations that Trevor Loudon has mentioned, or has she not? Are those associations, you know, still around? Were they? Are they? You know, these are things that we really need to look at. But why she came over from, you know, leaving the Democrat side behind and coming over to endorse President Trump, I would like to think that this is the leading edge, perhaps, of a wave of you know, former Democrat loyalists. And here's something interesting that I didn't realize, but a friend of mine pointed this out to me. We were talking over the weekend, and she pointed out to me, you know, that not only have tech giants like Elon Musk come over to endorse President Trump, but here's some connections that I didn't realize. Bobby Kennedy's, and of course he has now come out to endorse Trump. His vice presidential running mate was Nicole Shanahan. Now, Nicole Shanahan's ex is the co-founder of Google. His name is Sergey Brin. That's her ex.
Oh.
And he, Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google. Okay, another big tech guy. And Sergey Brin apparently is BFFs with Elon Musk. So the connections here that I was not aware of,
I didn't know any of
seem
that.
to me to be bringing in people to Donald Trump's campaign in support of, who hail from the world of big tech. And so what I'm wondering is, you know, what's going to happen with the Rumble CEO, for example. His name is
or Chris Pavlovsky, yeah.
And he just fled Europe to come back to the United States. I guess he's Canadian, but he returned anyway, got out of Europe. In the wake of the French government's arrest of Pavel Durov, who is the CEO of Telegram. Now, I don't know all the details of those allegations by the Macron government in France as to what exactly went on between the French government and Durov. Remains to be seen. He's been released from arrest, but is bound to remain in France for the time being, pending, I guess the indictment has been made against him. Things like permitting, allowing, refusing to take steps against child pornography on the Telegram platform, all remaining to be adjudicated, you know, in you know, future legal proceedings. But the point here being, let's leave Durov aside for the moment and look at Rumble's Pavlovsky. Is there the possibility that some of these other big tech CEOs, leadership, might also be coming over to Trump in days to come? We've heard kind of hints from Trump in some of his statements recently. Hang on, wait, there's more coming, that sort of thing, right?
Mm.
So stay tuned, I guess.
Well, one, I would say, yeah, ain't no way Pavel's staying in France. I've interviewed like Dale, former Delta Force CIA ground branch. I've interviewed these guys that have done VIP exfil before from places like Dubai, where the punishment would be execution, who are not even billionaires, maybe millionaires. I would, if I had to put money on it, I would say, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being too short-sighted. Maybe once you become a billionaire, you don't need to do VIP exfil. You make a couple calls and pressure the government. I don't know. That's the dynamics of power that are I know nothing about. But I would imagine you see, yeah, kind of all sorts of things. So I didn't know anything about Sergey Brin and those connections. I know who he is, him and Larry Page. I didn't know any of those connections. That is very telling. So you have Bobby and
I
running
didn't
mate.
either until my girlfriend phoned me up one
That
night.
is that's not that is not insignificant. And
Yeah.
obviously Elon coming out endorsing Trump on July 13th, having him on the Twitter space where I think they said across all plays on Twitter, it's already topped 2 billion plays. For a
Wow.
reference point, Joe Rogan's most downloaded episode of all time is with Dr. Malone in
Oh, right.
December of 2021.
I remember that one.
That has been almost 3 years and it's around 100 million.
Wow, what a difference, huh? And we
Trump
thought that broke the internet, right?
Trump and Musk broke 1 billion within
Wow.
24 hours.
Wow.
3 years, 100 million, 1 billion, 24
I
hours.
was listening that night,
Yeah, me too. Me
that
too.
interview. Yeah.
So that
It
with
wasn't an interview even really so much as
well,
I
that's the
think it was a
significance of
conversation,
what I brought up
wasn't it?
earlier. To be able to sit and shoot the shit
Just
is it
talking, two guys.
well, it's an entirely different level of
I mean,
transparency.
brilliant guys, each in his own way,
Sure,
uh,
but
from
very
coming from his own
significant.
world.
Yeah, very significant to just sit there and talk like a human. So you have Elon and Trump doing that. You have that Sergey connection, which you just informed me on. You have Bobby and I would imagine running mate endorsing. You have Tulsi coming over. You have Pavel getting arrested in France, which probably
No,
signals.
Durov arrested, Pavlovsky fled.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Arrested, which then I would imagine signifies to tech CEOs here that as that crackdown continues, one, it means you can no longer go there. But two, what it means is when it comes to the US, what do you think is going to happen to you if you don't bend the knee? So if you're going to have a change of heart, you better have that now, which I
Well,
imagine is what Zuckerberg's doing.
I'm going to keep an open mind on the Durov case because,
Sure.
um, yes,
If
he
he's
did
allowing
refuse
child
to
porn, that's
censor
no.
content on his platform, Telegram. But was there content there that he should have,
I'm
but
with
didn't
you. I'm with you.
cooperate on with French law enforcement? Question mark. I don't know,
No,
but
I'm with
we need
you.
to wait and see about that.
No, I'm with you. Child porn, unforgivable, zero strikes.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But that is also because humans, rightfully so, have such a visceral reaction to that. That is also a pretty uh convenient allegation if you needed to shut someone down. I'm not
Well,
defending him or going against him. I'm just saying I
yeah,
also don't
but
entirely trust
if
France.
it's not just France. I mean, let's look at what's happening next door in Britain, in the UK.
Well, yeah.
And Prime Minister Starmer is not only cracking down on written content, um, but simply thoughts or spoken words that people might be thinking about, and they're being arrested and thrown in jail. As a matter of fact, their jails are so full that they've had to let actual well, had to have released actual criminals to make room in Britain's prisons for people who simply were exercising freedom of speech, freedom of thought. This is Britain.
Yeah, I think Michael Young, it might be him. I don't want to put words in his mouth or incorrectly credit him. I think he's the one that called it genocide, and it's the killing of a nation by overwhelming migration and punishment of the natives.
Well, that is happening, certainly in
It's a
Britain, but in other places. France is another one, Belgium's another one, Germany's another one, Sweden's another one,
it's
all
a
of them.
more subtle genocide. You start rounding people up and putting them in camps, that gets a lot of eyebrows. But if you bring people in under the guise of migrants, and you have the Pope coming out yesterday and saying if you refuse these migrants is a grave sin, despite the fact that these migrants come in and you have these little homogenous, peaceful societies or cities like Malmo, Sweden,
Oh, forget that.
which went from a
Gone.
place that I always knew it as it had a turning skyscraper. It was a beautiful skyscraper in Malmo. It is now the rape attack and grenade attack capital of the planet,
Of Europe,
of
certainly of
Europe.
Europe.
Excuse me.
And I actually was in Copenhagen in Denmark a few years ago, and there's this ancient old tower in Copenhagen that you walk up the spiral ramp
Yeah,
to the top where there's a parapet. And from there, I didn't realize how close it was. You can look directly across the water and the bridge, which spans the water between Denmark and Sweden, and actually see Malmo. But back to your point about Pope Francis, he who lives in a completely walled,
walled.
enclosed city state,
Yeah,
uh, yeah,
with some pretty high end security. Let's not forget that either.
very much so.
Yeah, pretty high end security guys with
But
fully
there
armed.
aren't hordes of migrants scaling the walls of the Vatican
Yet.
or having the doors thrown wide open and inviting them in to, make camp in St. Peter's Basilica or the Plaza. No.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's abundantly clear that hey, and I understand, I am my brother's keeper. I understand the t tenets of Christianity. I'm not dense, and I'm not evil. I get it. I totally get it. However, people evil people will use there is no depth to their evil. They will use things like take this shot for grandma. They will use this like you can't see your dying father, he's on a respirator. They will use these things to bend your will because they are evil. So they will also take the unwashed masses who are hungry and cold, and they'll say, "Bring them in." You go, "Okay, we'll bring them in." They go, "We're bringing them all in." Once they start raping your daughters, if you speak about it, you are going to prison. A SWAT team's going to kick down your door.
I mean,
It should be no surprise. These people are demons. They will
well,
do anything.
I mean, one of the foundational principles of our United States Judeo-Christian based Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and other documents too, is the right to private property.
Yes.
Um, that is fundamental to our constitutional republic, and the concept of that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Pursuit of happiness signifies, it means the acquisition, the ownership, the defense of private property. And that is Judeo-Christian based. I don't know exactly where this Pope got his ideas, but one might look at a few of his encyclicals translated into English, um, and realize, what his own Jesuit communist background, dating back to early years in Buenos Aires, Argentina, liberation theology and all the rest of it, how that might be playing into his current statements.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing honorable about there's nothing honorable or spiritually obligated about letting people in and destroying your land and your family. First and foremost, you take care of yourself, take care of your wife, your kids, your siblings, your parents, your community, and outwards. Yes, it is your duty as a Christian to extend a hand. However, there's no obligation and no logic and no honor in extending yourself so thin and letting yourself be bulldozed because now
Well,
you're simply
and,
sacrificing your own.
and this is where the concept of the sovereign independent nation state with ideally inviolable borders comes from. The Treaty of Westphalia, um, Christian Europe, back in 1648, at the conclusion of the horrific 30 Years' War in Europe that tore the continent apart and racked up, you know, millions and millions of casualties of killed in those 30 years. But that's where the concept comes from, the Treaty of Westphalia and the establishment at that point of the ideal, okay? Not always honored, but in the ideal, the sovereignty of a nation state is just the expanded, just as you were saying, Tommy, the expanded version of the individual,
Your family.
and the castle is his home.
Yes.
You extend it out, and the Treaty of Westphalia made the point for the very first time and put it into a treaty, in an idealistic treaty, that nation states, with sovereignty and inviolable borders are the ideal. And this,
Mm.
by the way, is why we stand up for and help to defend Ukraine, Israel, against lawless marauders, warlords, terrorists, breaching those borders and assaulting, a sovereign nation state and its people. That's why we stand for Ukraine. That's why we stand for Israel, in addition to shared common, Judeo-Christian based values, of course, too.
And you know, you wonder if the tech CEOs are looking ahead and going, it's not too many years before they no longer need a human at the helm of Meta or Reddit or Instagram. They just need AI.
Oh, let's
And
not even go there.
well, my point is so they might be looking at it and going, they're gonna dispose of me, and then that we're seeing in the UK, that's coming here.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm not safe. It used to be I'm a billionaire, I'm
Mm.
safe. Now it might be, hey, I'm also in the lifeboats. They might because these guys evil. They're not stupid. If anything, they are superbly gifted at forecasting. That's why they're billionaires. Yeah, I would imagine they're looking at it and they're going, oh, Harris Waltz 2028 with our new AI initiative called Democratic Joy Bot, we no longer need these pesky right-wing CEOs. And then you're in the streets with the rest of the unwashed masses. So it might be that they're looking at that and
Mhm.
going,
Good point. It's possible.
ooh, I'm on the platter next.
Could be.
I don't know. I'll take it. I'm not gonna be a purist with
Well,
you know,
I mean, I think that, the realization that being a CEO of a high tech, media platform, company is no longer a defense. Not only
no.
a defense, but you're now, in the bullseye. You're a
Yeah,
target.
yeah.
That's what we're seeing. Now, whatever whatever comes out of the Durov situation, and I don't know enough to say right now. But the point being, they've gone after Musk,
Uh-huh.
they've gone after Pavlovsky, and more.
Yeah. Yeah. I think yeah. You're seeing what we've all seen over the years, and it's there no amount of bending the knee, no amount of expressing your guilt as a whatever, a straight man, an American, a Christian, what no amount is ever good. And again, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be naive and go, Zuckerberg's one of us, but I'm also not gonna be a purist and say, no, we're not taking them. I understand, hey, take the wins where you get them, And if this is what's happening to the big picture is this maddening woke Marxist technocratic dystopia needs to be stopped in its tracks. And I'm not gonna necessarily sit here and go, nope, Zuckerberg's not allowed. I'll take the win. I mean, I get it. We also partnered with the Soviets to beat the Nazis and Japanese. I understand it. It's strange bedfellows. I get it. So that's kind of where I'm keeping a keen eye and being skeptical, but it's also, you know, take the wins when you get them, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you on that.
And, and you're also, and this is much less, and I'm not going to be a full tugging at the heartstrings, but in all fairness, it is also possible to have a change of heart. It is possible. I don't necessarily think that's what's happening, but it is possible to
Yes,
have a
yes, it
change of
is.
heart. That's
Yes,
you're entitled to that
agreed.
as a human. You can do that. So, but for now, Miss Lopez, let's wrap this up. We're coming up on an
Okay,
hour. Um, thank you for doing this on such a short
sure.
notice. And yeah, I imagine we'll resume next week, right?
Okay, sounds good. Glad we could fit it in.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Please
See
go
you
in the
next time.
description. Please go follow Claire on Twitter at the very least. Thank you so much. Till next time, Miss Claire Lopez. Thank you for your time. Guys, thank you for watching.